Hey guys, Brent Sibley here, your favorite personal injury lawyer, Sibley Dolman, Accident and Injury Attorneys. Today I'm going to be talking about a question that comes up a lot, and it is the question of should you be hiring a specialist for a particular matter, not just legal, or a general practitioner? Specialist versus general practitioner. So, first, I want to go into a little bit about what the differences are. Specialist is somebody who handles only a very narrow subset of that general practice. Now, for this video, I'm going to do a lot of comparisons between lawyers and doctors because we have a lot of similarities. So, for example, your general practitioner is somebody that you go to every year for your annual physical, and they don't really have a very specific specialty area that they practice in all day. With lawyers, you might not be familiar with it, but there are also general practitioner lawyers. They handle a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and not everybody has a general practitioner lawyer. But if you aren't aware of this, you may go to a general practitioner lawyer for your case, whatever it may be, without realizing that you're going to a general practitioner and you're not going to a specialist. So that's kind of the foundation for where we're going here with this video. First of all, I want to take a quick break and have a shout out to my buddy. I'm not going to say his name, but he watched my last video on the full coverage myth, and his wife was just in a situation. They got hit by somebody. They had no coverage. His wife called me. I texted him immediately. He checked his policy. He was smart. He actually had coverage, and we're doing a case for her, and hopefully everything will work out. So big shout out. Don't post below and reveal yourself because the case is still open. So anyway, you know who you are. You're awesome. Good for you for buying coverage because it's protecting your family. Okay, so back to the topic. First is understanding the difference between a general practitioner and a specialist. In medicine, you get it. You go to your general practitioner, they kind of do an annual physical. They're not specialist of the eye, they're not specialist of the ENT or a spine doctor. They don't really do any types of surgeries. They're kind of just a doctor who, I don't want to say they're of less value by any means, but they don't really have a specialty. They just kind of know their medicine. They know very generalities of medicine, and their role really is to see if something might actually be wrong with you, and if there is something wrong with you, then they're going to transfer you into the hands of a specialist. Now, there are attorneys out there that are general practitioners. They do a little bit of family law, they do a little bit of criminal law, they might dabble in personal injury cases. And when you get referred or you find a lawyer for your case, and I'm not even just talking about personal injury cases, I'm talking about any type of issue that might come up where you might need to hire a lawyer. If you go to a lawyer, say you go to your boss or you go to somebody in your neighborhood who knows lawyers, you say, I need a lawyer. I have a child custody issue, or I got in a car accident, or my husband got a DUI and we don't know what to do. The police are asking us questions. You don't know what to do. You're going to go to a lawyer, and that lawyer, no matter what lawyer it is, most of the time is going to know a lot more than you. So you're probably going to just hire the first lawyer you see, unless you're doing your research and you're going to make a very informed decision. And that's kind of why I'm making this video. I want to help people understand how they can do their best to get the right lawyer for their case, whatever it may be. Because 1 or 2 hours in the beginning before you hire your lawyer can make a huge difference for the next 5, 10, 20, for the rest of your life, potentially, if it's a child custody case or a personal injury case. So those could be the best 2 hours you ever spend. So when you get referred to a lawyer, for example, you're going to want to see when you interview them, when you talk to them, what kind of cases do you do? Do you do only child custody cases? Do you do only DUI cases? Do you do only personal injury cases? Oh, okay, you do some family law, you do some of this, you do some of that. Red flag. Be careful. Now, why is it so important? Why am I harping on this so much? Well, there's really one main reason. It starts with one main reason and it cascades to a million cause and effect relationships. If you are a specialist, you are going to be way more efficient than someone who's a general practitioner. Why do I say that? Well, you are going to have staff in your office that is capable of handling all of the normal things that come up on a day-to-day basis. Look at a doctor's office, for example. When you go to the doctor's office, there's somebody who checks you in. Then you go into the back and you see the nurse. That's all she does is she goes around, the first level nurse. She comes in, she takes your blood pressure, she takes your vital signs, and she moves on to the next room. She puts it in your file. They have it down to a system. When you are dealing with a specialist, either in medicine or in law or in any practice, when you're dealing with a specialist, you're going to notice that you're going to see systems in place when you go to their office. You are going to have to accommodate to their systems, but that's okay. It's going to feel a little bit weird because you're not going to deal with the doctor right from the beginning, or you're not going to meet with the lawyer right from the beginning, but they have a system in place that allows them to be highly efficient to practice law or practice medicine or aviation or whatever it is that they're doing in a very efficient manner. So you have to deal with that. But you know what? That's okay. That's how they get such a high level of quality control in what they're doing. So, same thing. You see the doctor's office, you go through the first level, then you go through the next level. Maybe the lady comes in with the scope. The doctor doesn't even operate all the equipment, just like the lawyer in the law firm doesn't operate all the computers in the office. The lawsuit might be drafted by the paralegal and then reviewed by the attorney. So, when you're dealing with a specialist, they have the same types of behaviors, the same types of to-dos that are in the firm. Car accident cases. Okay, we have somebody in our office, for example, that's all they do is collect medical records. Now, even though somebody with just a general high school education that collects 2,000 medical records every year, they're going to be better at it than an attorney that only has to do it 5 or 10 times a year. So when you're dealing with specialists, you have people in the office, the staff gets really, really good and really efficient at doing certain tasks that are recurring when you're in a specialized area. Now, why is this really the most important thing? Like, it's good to have efficient people, everyone's doing their job, blah, blah, blah. But really, what it boils down to is that when you're dealing with the specialist, because the attorney or the doctor or whoever the high level person in the business is not being bogged down with BS items like requesting medical records or checking the heartbeat or checking the nose or checking the pulse or other little things that should be delegated to their helpers, the doctor or the attorney is in a position to actually sit down, have a meeting, speak to the patient, speak to the client, and get to know what's really going on. You don't want to waste the doctor's time or the lawyer's time with filling out an intake form. No, that would be ridiculous. Think about it. If Have you been to a doctor's office where you waited 4 hours? The reason why that's happening is because the doctor is not being efficient with their time. They're spending their time doing things that are a complete, waste of their time. They're not delegating properly. There's no system there. So when you have a specialist that does their office the right way, it's going to be a lot better for them and a lot better for you as the client or the patient because things are happening the way that they should be happening. So you're going to be getting, if they do it right, you're going to be getting a much higher level of customer service. Now, the one thing to be aware of when you're thinking about this is don't just say, just because I hired somebody who's a specialist, I'm doing the right thing. Don't do that. Beware of hiring a mill that has taken this concept to way too far and they leave out the most important part, which is that's all they do. They have systems, they have people. You don't talk to the attorney, but that's where they mess it up. You never get to talk to the attorney, or you really never get to talk to the doctor until 3 seconds before your surgery. So that's going to be another video for another day. But I hope that this helped, you out there understand you want to hire a specialist, and these are the tools to be on the lookout for when you're deciding whether or not your lawyer is really a specialist or if they're really a general practitioner who just willing to take any case that comes through the door. Brent Sibley, Sibley Dolman, Injury Attorneys.